Welcome, football fans, ladies, gentlemen, and of course, how could I forget about all of my jabronis? It's Mitch here with your special limited edition Thanksgiving Black Friday review. In this review, I'm not going to be spending time going through play by play. Oh, this guy caught that pass for 17 yards on the 34-yard line. What do I look like? I'm not going to be doing that. But I'm going to go over each game. And I'm going to break down each game. And I'm going to give you the narrative. I'm going to give you the bottom line. Because that's what I do on the Bottom Line View. If that sounds good, Gronk, spike the like button. Don't be a jabroni. If you're new, welcome. My name is Mitch. This is the most electrifying NFL YouTube channel you will find on the internet, period. The most honest. And we're going to get to a lot of honesty. A lot of honesty in this video. I promise. Honesty. Because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to some of these teams. Some real truth needs to be told, guys. Because people are spreading rumors. They're telling you lies. They're saying this guy's really good. This team's really good. No. I'll tell you the truth. Okay? And the truth begins here. It begins with this. The Philadelphia Eagles are not in a slump. The Philadelphia Eagles are not mediocre. The Philadelphia Eagles are not just going through a bad time, a miscommunication. The Philadelphia Eagles, are you ready? Are you ready? You're really ready. The Philadelphia Eagles absolutely suck. That is the bottom line. If the Philadelphia Eagles make the playoffs, statement time. Again, I don't beat around the bush. If the Philadelphia Eagles make the playoffs, they will lose the first game. If they make the playoffs. Lock it up. Lock it up. Throw away the key. I told you not that long ago that the Eagles wouldn't even make the playoffs. But here we sit here. Somehow the Eagles persevered, and I give them credit. They're sitting at 8-4. But this is not an 8-4 football team. This is not a good football team. This is a fraud in Philadelphia. A bunch of fat frauds. The coach, a snarky fraud. What does he even do? What's even his name, bro? I was going to call him Kevin Stefanski because he's that irrelevant. What does the Eagles, Nick Sirianni, even do? Do they even practice? Because when you watch this team, it looks like all they do at practice is learn how to push grown men's in the behind. That's all they learn how to do in Philadelphia. A real technique of how to get low, bend their knees, in position, and then with two hands, push another grown man's butt forward for 5 inches. And as Ben Johnson once explained it, the tush push is not an explosive play. The Eagles, literally, they make me lose brain cells. At the end of that game against the Bears, the Philadelphia Eagles had a chance to make it a one-score game with about 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, maybe even 3 minutes left. I don't know the exact time, guys. Don't quote me on the time. But they had a chance to make it a one-score game, give their defense a chance to make a stop with 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. And what does this absolute jabroni do? Mr. Sirianni, who has his own bodyguard. Why does this guy have his own bodyguard, by the way? Is he that much of a loose cannon that if he were to go off on somebody, he needs another man to protect him because he can't protect himself? Why does he have a bodyguard? You ever think about that for a second? This jabroni scores a touchdown. An extra point would make it an 8-point game. With 3 minutes left. Not 1, not 2, but 3 timeouts and the 2-minute. 4 timeouts. Do math. And he goes for 2. I say that I literally lost brain cells because when I was live, I had to ask the chat if this was an 8, 9, or 7-point game. I couldn't even understand what he just did. You just ended the game right there. You go for 2 and end the game because you don't get it. It's over. First of all, the chance of you getting a successful onside kick is like 0, like 2%. You had all the momentum and hope, and you would have given your defense some energy and fire. And I'm glad finally this guy was, and nobody's talking about it really. I mean, they talked about it a little bit on the broadcast, but I haven't really heard anyone talk about this. Why? If you have a chance to make the game a one-score game, and I know you need a 2-point conversion at some point, I understand the calculus there. I understand it. You don't go for 2. Because if you go for 2 with 3 minutes left, you're down 2 possessions with 3 minutes left. There's no chance you're going to win the game. It's over. What you do is you kick the extra point. You go down 8. You let your good defense have 3 timeouts. You kick the ball deep. You make a stop within 2 first downs because they need to get 2 first downs to end the game. And you give your quarterback a chance at the end of the game with momentum. Your crowd's going crazy. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, you give your team a chance to go down the field and tie the game up with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. It's not like it changes the math in terms of you need a touchdown or a touchdown. No, it doesn't change that. It's not like you need extra time to attempt a 2-point conversion. Okay? But 9 points in 3 minutes left, it's over. It's over. So first of all, I don't know why anyone's not talking about that. This guy has made egregious mistakes. Like that, what the hell? They went for it on like 4th and 10 against the Packers for no reason at the end of the game. They went for it at the end of the game against the Lions where they tush-pushed. That could have cost them the game if the Lions had half an offense in that game, right? Like, how many of these mistakes is he going to make? What does he even do well? He's an offensive guy, offensive coach, doesn't call plays, doesn't have a good philosophy on offense. They call 6 plays. What is their offense? What is it? Tight end RPO to the flat and inside zone? Like, what the F am I watching, bro? It's like a 4-year-old playing Madden with a create a playbook with like 6 plays, bro. Dirk Kant's playbook's got more plays than that. Like, what are we even talking about here? What are we even talking about? Cade Diggy's playbook has more plays. He's at least got stretch left. Right? Like, he's got U-trips in the book. He's got trips tight end, bubble screen, you know? Like, he's got a couple more plays, you know what I'm saying? This guy's got 4 plays, bro, and 3 of them are inside freaking zone. Nick Sirianni has a bodyguard because he's such a bad coach that he needs to be protected because he's such a fraud. How did this guy win a Super Bowl? The biggest failure in the history of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid's career is letting this jabroni, stand tall and lift a Lombardi over their heads. One thing I know is when Nick Sirianni played Tom Brady, he didn't win. I know that. We'll get to Patrick Mahomes. Don't you worry. We're saving that. Don't worry. We're getting to Patrick Mahomes. Okay, we're getting to the Chiefs. Yeah, this is just the start. This is just the start. I don't know where I'm going. But it's going to get good. So if you haven't Gronk spiked the like button, there's no script. You guys think I have a script? I wipe my ass with a script. I don't have no script. 24-15 the Bears over the Eagles. Eagles are 8-4. The Eagles are not going to win a playoff game. The Eagles are probably going to get blown out in the first round of the playoffs. You can quote me, you can clip it, you can do whatever you want. You can pin it. You can do whatever you want. It's going to happen. I'm telling you right now, the Eagles might not even make the playoffs. Yeah, you heard me right. You want me to say it again? The Eagles might not even make the playoffs. Never mind win a playoff game. They might not even make it. They're 8-4. They went 1-1 with the Cowboys. That was a fluke, by the way. They should have lost the first game. They've been getting by just barely in every single one of these games. They go to the Chargers next week. Monday Night Football. Justin Herbert. They're going to get out-coached in that game too. They're going to get out-coached by Jesse Minter. 1,000%. You think they're going to out-coach that guy? No. Now, the Chargers can't block a soul, so the Eagles' defense will give them a chance. But it's in LA, not in Philly. You don't have that luxury this week. They're going to beat the Raiders because, I mean, if you lose to the Raiders, I will never watch the Eagles play another game. The Commanders at Washington is not going to be easy. I don't care who the quarterback is. It's a divisional game, and the Eagles can't score any points. At the Bills is a loss. So let's just say they lose to the Chargers and the Bills, guys. That's 6 losses. That means they're 11-6. Well, guess what? As we're going to discuss, the Dallas Cowboys are 6-5. Let me say it again. 6 wins, 5 losses. Let me say that really nice and deep. 5 losses. Which means that if the Eagles lose to the Chargers and lose to the Bills, very possible, maybe even lose to the Commanders, they might not even make the playoffs, because I'll tell you one thing right now. We're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. They might not lose another game. They look good. How did Philly lose this game? Well, let's start with this. They had 2 first downs in the first half. Starts there. Okay. Second, the Chicago Bears ran for 281 yards. The Chicago Bears ran for 281 yards. That is almost 200 more yards than the Eagles. The Chicago Bears had 28 first downs. 28. That was double the Eagles' 14. And guys, the Eagles had like 5 first downs on the last drive of the game. Maybe 3 or 4. So imagine what that number would have been. The Bears were also 10 for 17 on third down. The Eagles thoroughly, and I mean thoroughly, got their absolute ass kicked. They got ran over. They got bullied. They got battered. They got bruised. They got beat down by the bear down. Nick Gill was smiling from ear to ear, bro, because both his running backs ran for over 125 yards. Monongai, 22 for 130 and a touchdown. Swift, revenge game, 18 for 125 and a touchdown. One had 5.9 yards per carry. One had 6.9 yards per carry. That is egregious. You don't think that the Eagles are going to continually be exposed time after time for the rest of the year on the ground? You don't think the Bills are going to run for 200 yards on them? You don't think the Commanders are going to run for 200 yards on them? The Bears can run the rock. Give them credit. Ben Johnson's a brilliant schemer. You think if the Eagles play at home in the first round against Kyle Shanahan, they're not going to get their ass kicked? And here's the story of the game. It's not that the Bears ran for 280 yards, which they absolutely did. And that's the reason on the field they won the game. Because they dictated the game, they had the time of possession, they got the lead, they built the lead, and they secured it. But the real reason the Bears won this game is before the game even began. On one side, you have Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen, a really damn good coaching tandem. And on the other side, you have Nick Sirianni, a grown man with his own bodyguard, and he's not a pop star. And some jamoke that I don't even want to say his name as the offensive coordinator. Vic Fangio's defense got their ass kicked. The Bears coaching staff whooped that ass. And this is the problem with the Eagles. The Eagles coaching is pathetic. Pathetic. Garbage. Horrible. Trash. The thing is, Caleb Williams had more incompletions than completions. Caleb Williams was borderline booty cheek in this game. He had a 56 passer rating, including an interception on a screen pass where he threw the ball directly to Hunt. Right in his hands. Caleb Williams couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat in this game, and the Eagles still got their asses kicked. Because they couldn't stop the run. Ben Johnson play called circles around him. And the Eagles' offense is fucking incompetent. It's unbearable to watch. Get it? Unbearable. It is absolutely so bad, guys. I can't stand watching the Eagles play football. They are boring. They are dull. They're unentertaining. They have so much talent, and yet they absolutely suck. Jalen Hurts, if there is a single person in the comments that thinks Jalen Hurts is good at football, remove yourself. Jalen Hurts sucks. Jalen Hurts is ass. How could you possibly watch Jalen Hurts play football and think he's good? Please, I beg you, because your life is on the line. Get glasses. Go get your eyes checked. Please. And it's not only Jalen Hurts physically who stinks, but He is the reason for this current state of this offense. It's been reported 1,000 times that he will not allow the offense to be any more than it is. And that's why A.J. Brown hates him. A.J. Brown hates him the way that Singh hates Joe Burrow, which we're also going to get to. He hates the way he walks. He hates the way he talks, bro. Jalen Hurts is a fraud. So the Eagles have a fraudulent coach. The Eagles have a fraudulent quarterback. And this is exactly what I said before the season. Mitch, the Eagles are so good. Mitch, the Eagles are going to repeat. Mitch, the Eagles this, the Eagles that. Bro, I told you the Eagles are not going to repeat. Why? Because they don't have Tom Brady. They don't have Bill Belichick. They don't have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. They've got fucking Jalen Hurts and Nick Bodyguard Sirianni, bro. And I love Saquon, but bro is washed. Washed. They ran him into the ground last year. A.J. Brown had 10 catches for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns, and it didn't matter a lick. Bro, the Bears' leading receiver in this game had 3 catches for 36 yards, and it was Cole freaking Kmet, and the Eagles lost. At one point in this game, I thought the Eagles might actually win because the Bears, Caleb was so bad that Ben Johnson would not allow him to throw a forward pass. On every third down, they were throwing a damn screen pass. But the Bears ran 85 plays in this game to the Eagles 51. 85 plays, bro. 80 freaking 5. Are you kidding me? The possession was 39-20 because the Eagles were constantly run the ball for 1 yard, throw the ball incomplete, throw the ball all incomplete. 3 and out, punt, 3 and out. Kevin Byard interception. Are you kidding me, dude? Give credit to Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's one of the coaches of the year. He's one of the best coaches in football, period. He has been for the last 3 years. I don't care that he is or has been an offensive coordinator. He's already been one of the best coaches in football. We're seeing that with the way Detroit's playing this year, bro. And Dennis Allen, his defense played really well. They were very well prepared. They stopped the pathetic tush push. They fumbled the ball on the pathetic tush push. Nobody wants to watch that garbage. Get that off my screen, bro. So 24-15. To confirm my statement, for all of you jabronis, the Eagles, if they even make the playoffs at all, are going to lose the first game, probably by 20 points. Don't hate the player. Hate the frickin' Eagles, because they are unwatchable. They are terrible. They are pathetic. The Eagles are the worst. I hate this team. I'm done. Bears, 9-3. Where do I want to go next? I want to go to the Packers and the Lions. 31-24, Packers-Lions. I think it's a good segue to go from Ben Johnson beating the Eagles' ass to the Lions. The Lions lost by 7 to the Green Bay Packers, 31-24. And this was another game in which an underdog, the Packers, won. And notice how a lot of underdogs won in the last 2 days. And it's not because Vegas and this and that. It might be a little bit. It might have something to do with Mitch betting on all of them. But also at the same time, this is the story of the game. It's similar to last game I talked about. The Packers outcoached Dan Gamble and the Detroit Lions. Matt LaFleur outcoached Campbell, and Jordan Love outplayed Jared Goff. Simple math. The quarterback outplayed the other quarterback. The coach outcoached the other coach. Now, here's my problem with the Detroit Lions, who are now 7-5 and unlikely to reach the playoffs, especially if they lose to Dallas next week. My problem with the Detroit Lions is just like the Philadelphia Eagles. They have one common characteristic that is killing them. The common characteristic between the two is that they are the two most predictable teams in football. The Lions and the Eagles might be the two most talented teams in the NFL. They might actually have the two best rosters in the league. You could make that argument. But they are also the two most predictable teams in the NFL. When you play the Eagles, you know exactly what you're going to get from their offense. And you know exactly what you're going to get from their defense most of the time. When you play the Lions, you know mostly exactly what you're going to get from their offense. And you damn sure know, which is the biggest reason their Lions are falling apart, you know exactly what you're going to get from their defense on every single big play of the game. Man-to-man coverage. Every single time. And here's my thing. I like man coverage. I like a little press coverage. I like it. Do I like it on every fucking play of the game? No! Show a little creativity, color outside the lines every once in a while. Matt LaFleur literally had, on every third down and fourth down, a man-beating concept to beat the Lions every time. And you wonder why the Packers won the game. They scored 2 touchdowns with a bunch set, using a little pick action, rubs and picks, and getting guys open. Not very good receivers getting open. Wicks, Dobbs. And then, oh yeah, on one of the biggest plays of the game, the Detroit Lions, for some reason, leave Amik Robertson one-on-one with Christian Watson with no safety help. You are asking to give up a touchdown. A 50-yard bomb for a touchdown. Why is there no safety help on Christian Watson? He runs a 4.28. Romeo Dobbs might run a 4.4, maybe, in his dreams. Why is there no safety help on Christian Watson? We're playing cover 1. Someone explain that to me. And this is the fundamental flaw of the Lions this year. You are too predictable. The Lions' strength of what they were, their identity. We're gonna go for it. We're gonna gamble because we believe in our players. Players over plays. But in this case of the Lions, it's been plays over players. Without Ben Johnson, they're not the same team. They don't execute the same, they don't play the same, and they don't execute on fourth down the same. They mindlessly go for it all the time, no matter the situation. Let's make it a touchdown game by kicking a field goal. Instead, we go for it, and Jameson Williams drops a ball. Here's the thing. Lions fans will say that was unlucky. Well, that's a result that could happen on fourth down. Your guy could trip and fall on his face and break his face. That's something that could happen on fourth down. Kick the field goal, make it a touchdown game. Take the point sometimes. And that's exactly my point with the Lions. Not only are they predictable, but they are so stubborn. And this is Dan Campbell. They are so stubborn. We're gonna play man coverage on 3rd and 7. It doesn't matter that the entire stadium, including the little kid wearing the David Montgomery jersey because he's an absolute jabroni. Why do you not have a Jahmyr Gibbs jersey, you absolute idiot? Did your dad buy you that jersey? What? Why would you have a David Montgomery jersey? Ever. Even the kid wearing the David Montgomery jersey, an absolute little pathetic goon, knows that the Lions are going to play man coverage on 3rd and 7. That knows the Lions are going to play man coverage 3rd and goal at the 1. 4th and goal at the 10. Stubborn. And then on offense, we're going to go for it on 4th and 3, and we're more physical than you. We're going to run inside zone. How does that work for the Eagles? Stubborn. Stubborn. Another thing, too. Jamison Williams is your best receiver. Get him the ball. Every time Amon-Ra gets hurt, the guy goes for 100 yards. Is that a coincidence? 7 for 144 and a touchdown on 10 targets. Get him the ball. Jahmyr Gibbs was shut down in this game. You know why? Because the Packers are a division foe of the Lions who have played the Lions numerous times under this regime, and they know exactly what type of runs they run and how they run it and how to defend it. Theme. Stubborn. No creativity. No, this is a big game. Huge game for the division. You got to have a little bit of a counterpunch. A little bit of a, we're going to line you up, bro. You can't just keep running your shit. You got to have something different. This is a big game. You know what I'm saying? And then you've got your quarterback who, sure, 20 for 26, 256, 2 touchdowns. He had stretches in this game where he was efficient, he was effective. The Packers play a ton of zone coverage. The Packers have their flaws. We'll talk about them in a second. Goff really didn't make any great throws in this game. I wasn't wowed by Jared Goff in this game. He didn't do anything crazy. He didn't do anything over the top. He didn't do anything where I was like, wow, Jared Goff, wow. MVP, wow. Jared Goof. Jordan Love, meanwhile, I'm not even a huge fan of. I think Jordan Love, by most NFL nerds, is overrated because of his EPA. But Jordan Love had some wicked throws in this game. Off balance, under pressure, getting hit. Off platform, rolling out, throwing on the move. He made numerous throws, and he only completed 18 passes out of 30. The stats would say they played relatively even. Goff had more yards, Love had more touchdowns, Goff had a better passer rating. But no, if you watch the game, Love made more high leverage throws, high leverage plays, big time throws, tight window throws. Goff was giving completions on a silver platter against zone coverage. Josh Jacobs, I thought, was pretty good in this game. 83 yards on 17 carries, 4.9 per carry. Wicks was the unsung hero, 6 for 94, 2 touchdowns. He also converted the 4th down to seal the game. Watson had a strong game, 4 for 80 and a touchdown. Probably could have, with 10 targets that he probably could have had 150 yards if Love would have hit him a couple more times, or he would have held on the ball a couple more times. And we cashed with Christian Watson. Congratulations to you guys. And then Micah Parsons, 2.5 sacks, some high leverage key sacks. Where was Aiden Hutchinson? He's a ghost. Isaiah McDuffie was also a dog in this game for the Packers, flying around left and right. I thought Brian Branch had a really strong game for the Lions defensively. But the Lions defense is frustrating to watch because they're so stubborn. It's the same problem I had last year with Aaron Glenn. They run the exact same shit. Stubborn. 4th down decisions. Stubborn. They really need Frank Ragnow, but I don't know if that will solve it. I don't know if this team is already not eliminated at 7-5. They're in trouble. They got to play Dallas, a red-hot Dallas next week on Thursday night with no Amon-Ra. And with the Packers, I love their offensive plan. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was great. I thought LaFleur coached his ass off. And like I said, I thought Love really executed at a high level. And the Packers receivers answered my question. Who's going to get open against man? How are they going to do this? Wicks and Watson answered the call. Defensively, the Packers are just one of those defenses where I feel like if you can block them, you can shred them. If you can block them, you can get them. Them and the Rams feel very similar. They do. The Packers, I think, have their flaws. I think this was uniquely suited up against the Lions, where they had a schematical edge, a coaching edge. They knew what they were going to get, and they absolutely executed it. And we got one of the best Jordan Love games. I don't know this is going to be the case against other teams in the NFC playoffs. And I think there will be teams that better attack their defense than the Lions. I don't watch the Lions this year at all and look at their offense and say, wow, they're ahead of everyone else, like Ben Johnson had them. So those are my main takeaways from that game, guys. Then let's go to the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs, and we'll finish with the Bengals and the Ravens. If you guys haven't already, Gronk spiked the like button. Thank you for watching this video. Man, I've been making a lot of content lately, so I hope you guys do like it. 31-28, the Dallas Cowboys win. They are now 6-5-1. They're 4-1-1 at home. The Chiefs are 6-6, 1-5 on the road. The Road Warriors. Road Warriors. The Kansas City Chiefs. 1-5. 31-28 Dallas. Dallas could have won this game by more. They could have. Thought Dallas was the better team in this game. They spotted the Chiefs an early touchdown thanks to a Dak Prescott interception where he was hit, picked off by Jalen Watson. Late in the game, Jake Ferguson, by a fluke pretty much, wasn't able to get 2 feet in bounds, or that would have made the game probably more of a definitive finish. The Cowboys had more first downs, 23-19. They outgained them by nearly 100 yards, 457 to 362. They had 5 more plays ran. They had 1 more yard per play. They had way less penalties, which was a story of the game. And for all of you Chiefs fans that are saying, Mitch, the refs were in the pockets of the Cowboys. The refs wanted the Cowboys to win this game. First of all, F off with that jabroni crap. The Chiefs have been getting all the calls for the last 5 years. Get out of here. They literally don't even call holding when you play in the Super Bowl. Get the F out of here, first of all. And then second of all, it's because, and I'll explain this to you guys, the Chiefs play a very specific coverage style. They love to press. And when you press, you get handsy. And when you get handsy, you get called for PI. And when you are handsy against receivers that are very, very good and hard to cover one-on-one, you get called for pass interference. And that was the simple fact of the game. This is the reason the Cowboys won the game. The Cowboys receivers could not be covered by the Chiefs. The Chiefs could not cover the Cowboys, period. That was the game coming into the game, along with the Cowboys pass rush, which I correctly predicted would destroy the Chiefs. The Cowboys won the 2 critical matchups on both sides of the ball. Could the Cowboys win the matchups on the perimeter? And could the Cowboys get pressure on Patrick Mahomes? They won both those battles and therefore won the game. It's really that simple. This was actually a very well-played game between, I think, 2 good teams, but I think it's a skyrocketing team in the Dallas Cowboys, a real legitimate dark horse, and a Chiefs team who is a formerly great team that is on the decline, that still can play really well on a given day, and a Chiefs team that is just a little bit more flawed than they've been. They certainly have flaws, okay? Let's just go through everything. Where do I even get to? So CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, as I brought up, 7 for 112 and a touchdown for CeeDee Lamb on 9 targets. George Pickens with slant. 6 for 88 on 13 targets. Jake Ferguson, 5 for 36 on 6 targets. Okay, The three main receivers for Dallas had 5, 6, and 7 catches. They all produced and they all made key, crucial, critical plays on 3rd down, 4th down, chain-moving plays, red zone plays, all of it. Trent McDuffie got worked in a way that I don't think I've ever seen him get worked in the NFL. CeeDee Lamb destroyed this man. He stole his manhood from him. CeeDee Lamb destroyed Ultra's boy Trent McDuffie in this game. Javonte Williams ran hard, 17 for 59. Malik Davis, 3 for 47, ripped off a 43-yard touchdown. That was a big play in the game. But honestly, Dakota Prescott, and I said this on my broadcast, Dak Prescott, everybody wants to crown Patrick Mahomes. Everybody wants to say he's some GOAT or something. He wasn't even the best quarterback in this game, and he hasn't been the best quarterback between these two this year. Dak Prescott has been elite this year. Dak Prescott has been an MVP caliber player this year. Patrick Mahomes has been far from that. Dak Prescott outplayed Patrick Mahomes in this game by a mile. Pre-snap decision-making, accuracy on the move, in the pocket, aggressive tight window throws, aggressive decisions, scrambles, all of it. Like, Dak Prescott was incredible in this game. From pre-snap blitz recognition to delivery to extension of plays to sack avoidance, where he was sacked 0 times against the Chiefs. You know how hard that is? The Chiefs blitzed on almost every single big play of this game. They sent 5, 6, 7 guys on every big play of this game. Every time. And Dak had the situation scouted, protected. He knew where to go with the ball, and he executed. And when he did get pressured, he somehow avoided it, extended the play, and made a delivery for a touchdown to Javonte Williams, for a 2-point to George Pickens. Whatever it may be, he made the play, man. 27 for 39, 320, 2 touchdowns. He did have the interception, which wasn't all on him. But again, the stats would say Mahomes had 4 touchdowns, 129. He was not the better quarterback here at all. Mahomes was more inconsistent. He took bad sacks. He was more erratic. He missed open throws. He did make some nice throws down the field, extending plays at times. There was one to Worthy where Worthy was somehow wide open, where he almost tripped on his face 3 times, and he somehow threw the ball down the field. That was spectacular. Mahomes still had some Mahomes plays, but to watch this game and see the rhythm of each quarterback and see the processing of each quarterback and the accuracy of each quarterback and where the ball was, there was numerous plays where Mahomes just chucked the ball up for touchdowns. He just throws the ball up to Rashee Rice for a touchdown. Just throws the ball up to Kelsey for a touchdown. Like, that was 2 of his touchdowns in this game. He just mindlessly threw the ball up. Like, Dak Prescott was ripping and shredding, like, playing with rhythm. Like, to me, Mahomes is mid, Dak is elite, and Rashee Rice, awesome, 8 for 92, 2 touchdowns. He also had a great game. Kelsey had his moments, 5 for 45. But I thought, again, Dallas had some relentless pressure. The Chiefs had to send pressure a lot, and they tried to pressure Dak, and at times they did. But Jadeveon Clowney, 2 sacks in this game. Dante Fowler, a sack in this game. Quinnen Williams was all over the place in this game. Sam Williams was in the backfield in this game. Adigi Zua played well in this game. Ezaraku was getting held all game. Like, the Cowboys front, and as I said, they're a top 10 defensive line, maybe even better than that. They're a really good unit, and that's what had me believing in them in this game. No Trey Smith, who's on IR. Their left tackle, Simmons, ends up leaving the game late. Moore ends up playing. Jawan Taylor's banged up at right tackle. Chiefs are having offensive line problems. And the Cowboys' defensive line was whooping them for most of this day. And I just feel like I said at the trade deadline, again, I go back and I say this, the Chiefs needed a pass rusher. The Chiefs needed a pass rusher. The Chiefs needed to get a pass rusher. They needed to get a pass rusher. They needed to get a pass rusher. They didn't do it. They didn't acquire it. So Spags is having to feel like he needs to send extra to get there every time. And against CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, that's not going to work. That's not the formula to win. So the Chiefs have a flawed defensive line, an injured offensive line, a quarterback that's not quite the same, a run game that's inconsistent and unreliable. They are just more flawed and they're taking more penalties. They're not as good in situational football. The Cowboys are a really tough out. They are a demon, bro. A demon to play against. They have elite offensive playmakers. Elite offensive playmakers. Balance on offense. An MVP caliber quarterback. A damn good offensive line. Even without their left tackle, they played well. Their defensive line is top 10. And their linebacking play has been greatly improved with Overshown and Wilson. So the Dallas Cowboys are thoroughly legitimate. If you do not believe, they have a great kicker. If you do not believe in Dallas, you are just not watching with your eyeballs. Back-to-back weeks, they beat both teams that made it to the Super Bowl with a comeback and with a late victory against the Chiefs. I understand I just ripped the Eagles, and the Eagles are not that good of a team. But Dallas, man, you just look at it. They have one of the best offenses. That defense is complementing the offense. And you look at their schedule, they're 6-5-1. If they were to win the next 5 games and sweep their schedule, I would not be shocked. They play the Vikings, the Commanders, and the Giants. That should be 3 wins. They play the Chargers at home, and they play the Lions. I think the Cowboys right now, the way they're playing, the way they match up with the Lions, I think they have better offensive line and defensive line play right now, and they have much more, I think, more explosion without Amon-Ra or Sam Laporta than the Lions, and I think they're the way they play offensively is going to give the Lions a lot of problems on defense because the Lions, like I said, are stubborn. Give this guy Schottenheimer a lot of credit. He's been phenomenal as a first-year coach after being heavily criticized and heavily scrutinized in the offseason when he got the job. And I think the Chargers are very, very liable to lose a lot of games down the stretch because of their offensive line play. So I think Dallas could easily win 5 straight games and get to the playoffs and win this division if the Eagles lose 2 more games to rather the Chargers, I'm forgetting who they play. The Chargers, the Bears, and one more team that's pretty good that I'm forgetting. They don't play the Cowboys again. The Bills. If the Eagles lose 2 more games, they might be in trouble. Just going to throw that out there. All right. Let's get to the final game. I think I said everything I need to say about the Chiefs and the Cowboys. I think. The Cincinnati Bengals are 4-8. 32-14, humiliating defeat for the Baltimore Ravens, who are now 6-6. Needed this game to stamp the AFC North, take the AFC North, and just dictate their tempo for the rest of the year. There are problems in Baltimore, and the Bengals have a renewed faith. The Bengals were a great bet last night as 7-point dogs, 7.5, 8-point dogs. Easy money. Now, the storyline coming into this game was Joe Burrow's return. So let's start there. I thought Joe Burrow was okay in this game. He was around 50% completion, 24 for 46, 261, 2 touchdowns, 83 passer rating. He was only sacked once. I think the most impressive part about Joe Burrow, he had a couple moments where he ripped the ball at the intermediate level with pace and with accuracy and with arm strength. I thought that he was able to move better than I would have thought by avoiding pressure and buying time and making some throws. I thought there were stretches in the game which he played with a lot of rhythm and he played with just like great decision making and placement. But I thought there were also some areas in the game and some drives and some stretches where he was not great. He was just he was missing some throws. He was a little slow. He was a little off. So some rust with Joe Burrow. I didn't think he was himself fully, but he didn't make any interceptions or make any mistakes that way. And he wasn't as like completion percentage. He wasn't like 70, 80% like he seemingly feels like he is usually in these games. So there was a lot of balls that hit the turf, and he wasn't his most crisp or accurate or like just on the tempo. But he did make some high leverage plays, and he was the better quarterback in this game. Lamar Jackson was dreadful in this game. He had 17 completions on 32 attempts, 246 yards. He made some chunk gains down the field off play action and on the scramble drill. He did throw an interception. He was sacked 3 times and had a 65 passer rating. So he threw a pick. He was sacked 3 times. Burrow was sacked once, no picks, right? And Lamar also did not throw a touchdown in this game, okay? The run game also was fairly even for both sides. Chase Brown had 5.2 yards per carry. Late, he was able to seal it with some nice runs. P. Ryan was not great. I don't know why he got 14 carries in this game. He only went for 2.8 per carry. Derrick Henry only had 10 carries for 60 yards. He probably should have had more looking back at it. Same as Keaton Mitchell, who had 9.5 yards per carry and a touchdown on 2 carries. They should have ran the ball more, period. But Lamar does not look the same. I don't know if that's an injury thing, if that's a confidence thing, if that's a offense is getting figured out, if that's Lamar is slowing down, if that's Lamar's injuries are contributing him to not be the same player, and this is the start of the demise of a player that was known for his athleticism, his quickness, his elusiveness, his speed, and without that elite speed, quickness, elusiveness, his game and body slows down, and therefore he's not the same player. I think part of it is injury. I think part of it is confidence, rhythm, timing. I think part of it is he might be getting a little bit past his prime. We've seen this with Mahomes, right? Joe Burrow, I think we'll see how he finishes the rest of the year, but he didn't look at his peak either, but he played better than Lamar, like I said. And this is a bad Bengals defense, but like I said previously, the Bengals played really well against New England for who they were playing against, Drake May. They allowed only 19 defensive or offensive points for the Patriots, defensive points for the Bengals. They kind of bullied the Steelers offense 2 weeks ago, but they allowed 2 defensive touchdowns from Pittsburgh to kind of allow them to escape with that game. And Flacco had been making uncharacteristic mistakes to put the Bengals in bad position, while Joe Burrow just simply didn't do that. He actually played a fairly similar game to what Flacco had been doing. A lot of quick, crisp, on-time throws, and specifically to the perimeter of the field, but at times on big downs to the middle of the field, on digs and crossers and stuff, but a lot of out routes, a lot of comebacks, a lot of curls, things like that Burrow likes to execute, and Flacco seemingly did as well. Jamar Chase had 7 for 110 as expected. No other receiver really had a great game. I thought Tinsley really struggled. 9 targets, 2 catches. He just didn't make a lot of plays on the ball. Yossi Voss was very quiet. Gesicki was quiet. Chase Brown had 7 catches for 35 yards on 7 targets, a lot of dump offs out of the backfield and screens. But like, it was kind of the same offense with Joe Flacco. It was just that Burrow didn't make the mistakes, and the Bengals defense was actually turning the football over, right? They caused fumbles. They caused interceptions. They shortened the fields up, and actually, 4 fumbles from the Ravens officially. Zay Flowers, likely, who fumbled the ball through the end zone, which was a critical play in the game, could have totally changed the game. Isaiah Likely fumbles the ball running into the end zone, but it was a good play by the Bengals defender. It wasn't those where the guy just kind of dropped the ball. Lamar Jackson fumbled twice. Lamar was sloppy with the ball, had some cartoonish, turnovers, but the Bengals defense deserves a lot of love and credit, and they've been getting a lot better, and they've been ascending. And the Bengals are not a team that a lot of people want to play, especially when T. Higgins returns and Trey Hendrickson returns. That's going to make them that much better. But you look at the Bengals here, they're 4-8. They pretty much have to sweep the remainder of their schedule, which is not impossible. They play the Ravens one more time at home. Given how they beat them 32-14, you'd give them a chance to win that game. They play Miami in Miami, which isn't easy on a primetime game, but they should win that game or should be favored. Arizona and Cleveland at home, they should win those games. And then Buffalo in Buffalo is an opponent they've beat numerous times before. That's probably the toughest game left on their schedule. If they could win 5 more games and be 9-8, they can win this division, because I think it's likely that the Ravens and the Steelers finish 8-9. So they do have a chance, okay? I'm just going to throw that out there. They do have a chance. It's unlikely because they have to run the whole damn gauntlet, and the Ravens and the Steelers have to kind of slip and fall on a banana peel, but it's possible. Okay, Isaiah Likely did have a strong game, 5 for 95 despite the fumble. Andrews had 4 for 47. Henry had 1 for 44. Zay Flowers was locked down by the most underrated corner in football, DJ Turner, who I told you guys about in the offseason. The Ravens defense was fine in this game, but I didn't think they were great. Pass rush wasn't good. Run defense was spotty. Situationally not fantastic. And they definitely struggled to cover Ja'Marr Chase, as they always do. But the Ravens defense wasn't the problem here. The biggest problem was turnovers, short fields. There was a point where the Bengals, they had 4 field goals, right? It was 12-7 at half for the Bengals because they couldn't score a touchdown in the red zone. The Ravens would allow the Bengals to move the ball, and or the Ravens would give the Bengals the ball in the red zone, and then the Bengals would stall out and kick a field goal with McPherson. That was the opportunity for the Ravens, and I think the likely touchdown happened around there, but you know, the Ravens kind of kept them in it defensively, kept them in it. And the offense just kept messing up, kept turning it over. Every little glimpse of opportunity, they fumbled it, quite literally. So the Ravens, just to rant about them for a second, they need some change. I think seriously, they need to think about firing John Harbaugh. They need to think about what's the future with Lamar. I'm not saying get rid of him. I think he's your guy going into next year, but this could be the end of Lamar is MVP caliber player. It could be, right? Lamar, who's his comp? Michael Vick, right? Michael Vick didn't last that long, right? He had the stint where he went to jail, obviously, but like these guys are very unique players where it's like quickness, speed, explosiveness, athleticism is their gift, their trait. It's not the fact that while Lamar is a good pocket passer, he is known for his unique elusiveness, his unique speed, quickness, what he adds to the run game, the threat of him. If that no longer exists, he might not be the same player. You're going to have to change the way you play. Defensively, they probably need a new defensive coordinator. I mean, this guy has not really done anything with this team. And yes, they need some personnel up front, but the Ravens don't feel like a team that a lot of people are kind of looking at them. Oh, could they be a dark horse? Could they go to the AFC Championship? A couple of weeks ago, people are saying this. And I've been saying to you guys, like, who have they really beaten? I said that. That's why I was like, you got to take the Bengals with the points. Who have the Ravens really beaten? Who have they really played? Right? This year, the entire year, not just when Lamar was hurt, right? Like, they lost to the Bills. They choked that game away. They lost to the Lions at home on Monday night in a primetime game. And the Lions are just kind of, they're good, but they're not great, right? Like the Lions 38-30. They lost to the Chiefs, who are good, but not great. The Lions and Chiefs might miss the playoffs. They're not even playoff teams. They got hammered by the Texans 44-10. That was without Lamar, but still, that's embarrassing, right? They lost to the Bears by 14, okay? That was without Lamar. But again, okay, they beat the Bears. That might have been their best win of the season, and it was without Lamar. Sorry about that. I messed that up. But the point being, like, Chiefs, loss. Lions, loss. Bills, loss. Now Joe Burrow, Bengals, loss in disgusting fashion. And in the Lions game, dominated. Chiefs game, dominated. Bengals game, dominated. They beat the Browns. They beat the Jets. They beat the J.J. McCarthy Vikings. Congratulations. They beat the Dolphins. Congratulations. So, even if they make the playoffs, I'm not scared of them. Lamar's not the same player. Their O-line's average. Derrick Henry in the run game, not as good as it used to be. Their receivers, they're good. They're not great. Their defense, it's okay. They're just not that good. Think about it for a second. Sure, we thought about this team before the year a certain thing. We thought they had a great team on defense and offense. Turns out they're not the same team. It happens. The Bengals, It sucks that we didn't get to see Joe Burrow, with some more time to work with. But I'm excited to watch the Bengals at least for the rest of the year. So, those are my thoughts about Thanksgiving and Black Friday football. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, Gronk spike the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. It's Mitch. Peace.